for us, it was like a no man's land. I think more than the opportunity, it was the itch to have your own business or to start your own venture. Operations is only about three things: maximize your utilization, minimize your cost, and ensure your customer satisfaction. Business is not a science. Yes, process is important, but business is a combination of art and science.
It is very rare to find a founder who will say, I am running a very simple business. And this is exactly what Ashok Vashist, the founder of WTI Cabs, told me. He said this is the simplest business in the world of moving people from point A to point B, and yet it is one of the hardest businesses to survive in. He told me that when he started WTI Cabs, a lot of people told him there are so many players in this logistics, transportation, people movement space. Why do you want to do it? And he said there are 2,000 companies in this space. I am the 2001st. My goal is just to survive. Today, WTI Cabs is among the top five players in this space. It is a publicly listed company. Their market cap ranges between 600 to 800 crores. And all of this was done without any venture capital money. Ashok is a phenomenal entrepreneur and also extremely funny and witty. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. I'm your host, Akshay Dutt, and this is the Founder Thesis podcast. So tell me about WTI Cabs. What is WTI Cabs?
Okay, before I start talking about WTI Cabs, I think it'll be important that I talk about myself. I graduated from Mahatma Gandhi University in Kerala or in Ernakulam, and then my first job was with Transport Corporation of India. Their franchisee, which was Hertz, they were the first franchisee of Hertz in India, and that's how it from 1995 till today I'd been only into mobility space. So started with Hertz, and then with Europe Car, got into I was the CEO for Easy Cabs, and it was a natural progression where in 2009-10 thought of starting a business of my own, and so that's how in 2009-10 WTI originated. And at that point of time I was thinking of various names which came to my mind: world, global, solution, travel, mobility solutions, some solution, that solutions. And I did send all these names to ROC, and the only name which was selected was Wise Travel India Private Limited at that point of time. And I think that was God's message to us, rather than we wanted some fancy names, but that's what was his jurisdiction, and we got that name. Rest all is history.
Is there a full form? WTI ka?
Wise Travel India Private Limited is how
Wise.
we formulated the company, and then
Okay.
the short form became WTI Cabs.
Hmm. Okay. Got it.
We started, three of us, me, my other two co-founders, Hema and Vivek. So that's how we started this business, and we used to work together sometime in TCI, remained in touch, and that's how things started.
Okay. Uh, so 2009 when you started उस टाइम पे वो VC funding का तो कुछ था नहीं concept.
VC funding tha. It is not that it was not there,
Okay.
but very few people used to get those kind of fundings. Also, at the same time, I think same time, almost in 2010, there were other two companies in this space, which was um, Ola and Uber. Came out in 2010 itself, and they really progressed well. Our only shortcoming as far as business is concerned is that our understanding of Android was zero, because none of us were techie. So we were still doing that call center business. People used to call a helpline, and we used to book a car. But I think the technology progressed, and somewhere we did not understand that piece. And that is the reason we got into B2B space. But whatever that happens is that happens for good.
Uh, I want to understand आपको opportunity क्या दिखी थी? What made you want to start this business?
So first and foremost is, and let me be very honest, that I think more than the opportunity, it was the itch to have your own business or to start your own venture. So that is the reason I took that plunge. And once you are there and you have burnt all the bridges behind, then you have no other way to succeed. The only thing that you can do is that you have to succeed now, um, because you have nothing else to do. So marta kya nahi
But
karta, you have to find ways and means of doing it.
did you have a role model for
Not
becoming an
not
entrepreneur?
really, not
नहीं.
really.
That's
So
okay.
if I talk about myself, my father was in defense. The entire Khandar has been into armed forces.
Okay.
So I'm the first person from the entire clan to get into something called business. For us, it was like a no man's land,
Yeah.
and venturing out on your own at a young age. I think it was difficult, but somewhere in my mind, I was pretty sure that I need to do that, because when I was a management trainee till today, whenever I worked in any organization, I have felt that it is my own business. So that is the reason at a very young age I got some very senior positions where people double of my age used to report to me at that point of time with a lot of experience. But business or position or professionalism, I think more important is intent. And if you ensure that you have to do something, you will always find out ways and means of attaining those objectives.
Hmm.
In my kind of business, there's no great idea. Ultimately दो काम है जो सबसे आसान है. एक घर बनाना और दूसरा गाड़ी भाड़े पे देना. एवरीबडी नोज इट. और हर एक आदमी ये करता भी है once once in lifetime, so because until unless you actually venture out in that and figure out, oh my god, कहाँ पे ये क्या काम कर लिया. So, doing any business at a small scale, yes, you can do it. But once you have to scale it up, uh, even if it is a boot polish, or making tea, I think moment you want to do it on a large scale, then the entire economics, the way things have to be done changes. Then you're not talking about giving a bespoke solution. What you're talking about is a process oriented solution, and same kind of a service every time has to be given.
Okay. How did you apply this in growing WTI? वो मतलब you also must have started bespoke और फिर gradually it would have become process oriented. वो
So,
tell me
कुछ तो
that
ना.
journey.
Yeah, so I think it was step by step. It is not something which happened overnight.
Day one में क्या था?
So
What did you start with?
it was so okay. There was a company who was into employer transportation, and we went there making a sales call. There was something called ad-hoc which nobody was doing, and the rate so called was very very low, what they were offering. But beggars are no choosers. So what we did is, okay, accepted that particular job which nobody else was accepting. And we had no cars. So we leased out 10 cars from one of the leasing companies, because for buying the cars nobody is going to give you funds also.
What does
So
it
we
mean lease out a car? Like EMI पे लेना?
नहीं सर, वो डेली बेसिस पे उस टाइम पे वी यूज टू गेट सम
अच्छा.
रेडियो टैक्सीज.
Okay.
So
Okay.
on daily basis, let's say we used to pay some $800 to that company which was into radio taxi business, and that's how we started our business. So it was very expensive. So my sourcing was expensive, and my business was at the lowest cost. But the only winning point was I understood, in car rental or in any other production business, the only way out is three things. One is your utilization has to be very high. That means if people are running the car for 200 kilometers, I'll have to run the car for 400 kilometers. Minimize cost. So On the cost front, I had no control as far as the cost of the car is concerned, because we are pretty new. So we accepted whatever was available. But what we did is we opened our own small workshop, and a mechanic was hired. So every day after 400 kilometers, when the car used to come back, we used to just do quick repairs, maintenance there itself. And last is the chauffeur, and the chauffeur was incentivized for doing these 200 kilometers in 8 hours or 12 hours. So that's how we started doing it. And believe you me, our margins were 25% out of that business, which nobody was accepting at that point of time. And that
Yeah.
was the first time we thought that, okay, we are in the right spot. And we started growing only in that business, which nobody was doing, because a lot of planning was required when you talk about ad hoc. So for somebody, it becomes ad hoc. But for a person who's providing service, for him, it is not ad hoc. You require a lot of planning in terms of how you have to utilize your asset, at the same time how you have to ensure your customer gets his car, his vehicle on time. So everything was on Excel, everything was on phone, there were no softwares which were available. But I think hats off to the team which we built up, and still the team is here and doing some great job. They were like mini computers. Everything used to be in their brain. कि अरे वो वहाँ पे गई है. They used to remember the phone number of each and every driver. So amazing
Wow.
guys. I've not seen that kind of a commitment in some of the large organizations. I think when you sit with your team, that what makes the difference.
Mm.
We used to from Monday till Friday, used to be in the office for 12 hours, 14 hours, whatsoever. People used to be there for 16 hours. And on Saturdays, first half, we used to have the planning for the next week, the sales, etc., etc. But after 2 o'clock till 6 o'clock, we used to play cricket with all these guys.
Wow.
And the kind of bonding which happens on the field at that point of time was much more important than all these exercises which these HR companies and etc., etc., which they do every day. Because that's where you are able to analyze each and every person in your organization. I think the growing years were very, very important, and we used to.
I want to just recap your business model. Tell me if I understood correctly. There is a company like, say, Accenture or Infosys or TCS, which provides pickup and drop service to the employees. They will have one master vendor, which is offering that employee pickup and drop service, charging them per employee basis, या per kilometer basis, something like that. That vendor has a fleet of X cars जिससे वो 80% डिमांड मैनेज कर लेता है, बाकी 20% डिमांड वो एड हॉक डिमांड है, फॉर विच ही वाज यूजिंग यू.
Correct,
सो
not the vendor.
दैट
Accenture or whatsoever the name of the
अच्छा, the
organization was
employer
using
directly
us.
was using you. Okay, okay, okay,
Correct,
okay.
correct. So what
ठीक है,
happened
got
is
it.
that 10% of requirement, which was not managed by these so-called direct vendor, then ad hoc. We were the ad hoc guys who used to manage those 10%, 5% of the business, which nobody else was willing to take.
Okay, ठीक है,
that's
understood.
that's how
Okay.
we started. And we
Hmm.
started doing that ad hoc business with 10 corporates. So it became more organized than the organized business itself. So so
अच्छा,
that was
okay.
the that's and it was not planned. We went, we accepted. So
So
it is not
ad hoc
that.
is the easiest entry into the door. वो उसमें वो इतना.
That time, yes, that time,
हाँ,
yes.
right, right, right,
So
right. और
that's how it happened.
so, so then what? Like once you built that entry into the company, then you started becoming a like a more important vendor for them, not just
Yeah,
ad hoc.
so the business started growing. The We were able to meet the SLAs, and we started
You
doing
were
only.
taking share away from the other vendors basically because you were
No, we never
more
started doing
reliable.
that. Yeah, not we never started doing that. What we started in ad hoc business itself, we started signing various accounts,
Okay.
because each of the corporate has got this kind of a problem, where
Hmm.
90% or 95% of business is taken care of, but 5% of the business is a problem, and we started
But why
becoming
not
multiple.
go after that 90%?
Yeah, issue is that we didn't have the inventory, which was very large. That time, no bank was even willing
Okay.
to give us the inventory. The vendors were
Acha.
not coming to us directly. Though I left one of the cushy positions when I was working. But moment you leave and start a new business, then you're like any other man. So you'll have to start your journey again, because you're as good as your last innings. So we were starting absolutely afresh. And I remember in 2010 we purchased our first car, and for that bank even mortgaged my kidney. So
Achha.
so
Okay.
the kind of papers I remember signing, etc., etc., were. I think today, if somebody comes to me and says that sign these kind of papers, I'll never be able to do that. But then that was the first car, and it was a Fiat Linea that we purchased, because that was the cheapest which was available at that point of time in
Okay.
that sedan category. Trust me, on the third day, this car was robbed
Oh,
in
shucks.
Ghaziabad.
Huh.
And the police wrote a complaint saying that it is a theft. We put a claim, insurance claim, saying it is a robbery. It has been 14 years. The claim is not yet settled, because there's a difference in connotation what police is saying, what insurance company is saying, and the case has gone up to Supreme Court.
Oh, wow. Just
And in
because
these
वो
40,
theft and robbery word वो सिर्फ वो semantic difference है या कुछ
नहीं
implication है
नहीं, वो
theft and
है
robbery का?
इम्प्लीकेशन है। अगर देखो थेफ्ट होता
अच्छा.
है तो पुलिस की गलती नहीं है, थेफ्ट होता है तो इट इज नेग्लिजेंसी बायस।
Oh,
रॉबरी होती है तो उस एरिया में, मतलब मेरे
अच्छा.
थाने में रॉबरी कैसे हो सकती है?
Oh, okay, 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 okay,
है ना?
okay.
सो
हाँ, हाँ, हाँ,
एनीवेज, आज 14 साल हो गए, फ्रॉम अ टर्नओवर ऑफ 1 करोड़ वी हैव रीच्ड अराउंड 550 600 crores, बट
हाँ.
वो क्लेम सेटल नहीं हुआ अभी तक।
Wow, wow, okay.
So
हाँ.
that has been very very instrumental in terms of how we started our business. And
तो
then
इस बिजनेस में गाड़ी खरीदना इज मैंडेटरी क्या? लाइक इफ यू कांट
not
बाय
really, not really, but what happens is when you are doing B2B business, sometimes you have to portray that you have the skin in the game. And that is what a corporate account, when he's giving you a very large business, they always want that to happen, because they are also putting their trust and faith in you and giving you contract, their employees safety, etc., etc. So that is the reason we have to buy fleet. But we came out with a model whereby we started aggregating cars. And one of the things is, normally we take cars on lease. For example, it is your car, we'll tell you, okay, we'll give 75,000 or 100,000 per month, based on kilometers and some other parameters. So it is as good as your own car. And that's how we started attaching cars with us. One of
सो दिस
the fun
द ड्राइवर कम ओनर मॉडल इसको वो डीसीओ
uh,
मॉडल कहते
so DCO actually was originated by me. I think I
हैं.
should be
अच्छा.
proud of it. Yeah.
वाओ.
Um,
अच्छा. व्हाट इज
and
द मॉडल, द डीसीओ मॉडल पहले क्या होता था एंड व्हाट डिड यू
and
चेंज?
no no, पहले होता ही नहीं था।
पहले वो सीधा कोई फाइनेंसियर से लेते
नहीं
थे.
तो वो होता क्या था कि आई यूज्ड टू वर्क विद अ कंपनी व्हिच इज अ बॉम्बे बेस्ड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, because of some issues, and this is I'm talking about 2000 2001. So because of the losses in the balance sheet, the banks were not giving finances to this company, and even the operating costs used to be very very high, because the driver took it as a right that every day he has to steal 5 liters of petrol. And they used to go near the airport. वो एक पीपा होता है 5 लीटर का, तो जो खरीदने वाला था ही यूज टू मेक अ डेंट इन दैट पीपा नीचे से, सो दैट 5.5 liters जाए उसके अंदर. They used to put a pipe and suck the petrol out of the car
Yeah,
and take
yeah, yeah.
out. So if, say, let's say if the rate of petrol is around 40 rupees per liter at that point of time, they used to get somewhere around 32 33 rupees, which is a gray market. So we used to lose out on both the fronts. One, तुम्हारा 5.5 लीटर चोरी हो रहा है, ऊपर से वो जो बेच रहा है वो भी माइनस 20-25% पे बेच रहा है. So one day I was addressing all these drivers, and told them, why are you selling this oil there? 5 लीटर का आप मेरे को ही बेच दिया करो, कम से कम वो डेल्टा तो मिलेगा मेरे को 20-22% का। So, and trust me, some of the guys are so naive. One of the guys, he filled up his pipa and brought it to me. He was bringing, and one guy caught him on the rasta saying, "कहाँ जा रहा भाई?" तो बोला, "कल सर ने बोला था ना मेरे को बेच दिया करो, मैं ज़्यादा दे दूंगा." बोला, "मरेगा क्या? वापस जा." So that was a problem. The finance was not happening. The operating cost went up to 95-96%, which results into a huge losses. And one day I was standing at the airport with one of the drivers to receive somebody. uh, it was a sudden struck of the idea. I said, why are we getting into buying the car, then managing the car, then managing the petrol, then managing the repair maintenance, tire change karna, ye karna, spare parts. It was too much of a, it was very, very operations heavy business. So some percentage came to my mind at that point of time. And the driver who was standing with me, I still remember his name was some Rathi. So I said, Rathi, अगर ये गाड़ी मैं तेरे को दे दूँ तो, and this guy was like, ये कैसे हो सकता है, आप गाड़ी मेरे को दे दे, ये तो कंपनी है, मैं छोड़ना उसके बारे में मत सोच, ये गाड़ी मैं तेरे को देता हूँ। और इसमें जो भी धंधा होगा उसका 70% तेरा है और कंपनी का खाली 30% है। बट ये 70% में आपका गाड़ी का ईएमआई, आपका रिपेयर मेंटेनेंस, आपकी तनख्वाह और आपका पेट्रोल,
पेट्रोल।
ये सब आपका है।
हाँ।
फाइनेंस मैं करता रहूँगा, लेकिन महीने के आखिरी में जो हिसाब होगा उसके अंदर से ये काट देंगे। नाउ दिस गाय जंप्ड ऑन द आइडिया. So there are two kind of people, one who wants to work, one who doesn't want to work. So out of the lot of some 40-50 drivers, some 70% of the drivers were like, sorry ये करेंगे, and 30% of the driver they went and filed a case against me in the labor court.
अच्छा।
तो उस टाइम बड़ा नाटक हुआ, स्ट्राइक हुआ, ये हुआ, बट 70% ऑफ द ड्राइवर दे started working, they started earning like crazy. Each of the guy was taking home at that point of time around 15,000. So if you see the net present value, it must be around 60-70,000 rupees. So slowly all those labor cases also. And one interesting story which happened at the labor offices, the commissioner, I started meeting him very often. And such a great guy, अपने पैसे की चाय मंगा के पिलाता था. So he was from one of the remote villages. तो मैंने पूछा कि सर फैमिली कहाँ पे है, बोले सोनीपत में. अच्छा, सोनीपत सर, बच्चे तो दिल्ली में रहते तो ज़्यादा अच्छे पढ़ते ना. तो बोलता है, अशोक जी ये सारे जो बाहर बैठे हैं ना, ये सारे दिल्ली में पढ़े हैं, मैं सोनीपत में पढ़ा हूँ. एंड द पॉइंट वाज सो क्लियर कि जिसको पढ़ना था वो कहीं पे पढ़ लेता है. तो इट इज नॉट दैट.
ट्रू।
आजकल बहुत सारे लोग दे टॉक अबाउट गोइंग टू यूएस फॉर स्टडीज एंड देन यू डोंट नो, यू लूज आउट ऑन द आइडेंटिटी आल्सो कि यू बिलोंग टू व्हिच ब्लडी कंट्री. So, and then this is how the DCO model originated. And then the entire industry adopted it. That was the model which we started in Easy Cabs also when I was the CEO. Because when you have
Easy
two,
Cabs was serving businesses, yeah, consumers,
no, it was B2C, completely B2C.
like Meru.
Yeah, Meru and Easy Cabs, they were the first. Easy Cab actually was the first one. So we
Okay.
did our test marketing at Chandigarh, and then subsequently followed with launch in Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Bombay. So build up a portfolio of around 3,500 cars, and then I left.
Acha. So this Easy Cabs Meru are like the previous generation of Uber and Ola. Like आज जो Uber Ola
Sir,
service
उस
दे रहा है
time पे
वो
ना
previous
the thought
generation
was there.
was.
Yeah, yeah, the thought was there that time also that we should be doing something on the tech. But क्या होता है कि when an organization becomes large, the agility goes off, and you don't get time from your रोजाना का वो जो operational
Business
issues
as
है तो
usual.
हाँ हाँ. So you're not able to think out of the box, and that is the reason, you have such large conglomerates, but why are they not able to take decisions, or why are they not able to start the new ventures? Or identify areas where the need gap has to be filled, etc., etc., is because you are caught up in your daily activities so much कि आपके पास में नया सोचने के लिए कुछ टाइम ही नहीं होता.
Mm, mm.
And that's what happened, and
I,
and
I
it'll
want
keep
to,
happening.
huh, right. Yeah, DCO model, may I want to like just do a little bit of like discussion with you. This DCO model about 10 years ago was what all this Uber and Ola were pitching, that we are asset light and we are aggregating supply, which is basically aggregating supply is a alternate name for DCO,
Alternate,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, uh, but today, I think a large part of Uber's fleet, at least, is with these uh, organized corporate players who are actually
So actually, we are also,
taking
yeah,
cabs on
yeah,
their balance sheet. So
सर
वो
ये
DCO
ये
model seems to be going down. मतलब, is that
सर हर चीज़
true?
की
Or,
ना एक उम्र होती है.
huh.
ठीक है, एक लाइफ स्पैन होता है. सो DCO हैज लिव्ड इज लाइफ. It has been
Why is that?
almost 20 years.
Hmm.
uh, when I buy a car and give it to other driver, I take some 4,000, 5,000 rupees as a deposit, which is not a deterrent. I have no control on him in terms of the SLAs or quality of service that needs to be delivered. And that's the biggest issue and challenge which has come up. Just by giving 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 bucks, this guy thinks that he's the owner of the car, which is not true, which is just not true. There is no discipline. There is no skin in the game as far as his financial commitment is concerned to acquire the asset. Whereas if he takes the same asset from the bank, he will jolly well do all the jobs which is required to, because he has to pay the EMIs, he has to pay the down payment, he has to then get the asset on his name after the completion of the loan, etc., etc. Here, this guy is paying some 3 4,000 bucks, paying some amount, that also with a lot of difficulty, and he starts thinking that it is his car.
नहीं, so this is in defense of DCO model. But what you also said is कि उसकी अब DCO model की life खत्म हो गई है. And we are seeing that also with companies like Uber not using DCO model much now.
हाँ, उसपे सर
So why is
कंट्रोल नहीं है
that?
ना उसपे. The see, you don't have control on the DCOs because they are doing business as per their whims and fancies. They are not. They are taking orders. They are refusing orders. They are not wearing the uniform. There is no discipline. They are not going for the training. तो उनके दिमाग में ये आ गया है कि जो मैं सोचता हूँ वो ठीक है.
Hmm.
तो
Okay.
समवेयर मतलब ये वो वाला हाल हो गया है कि पतंग को ये लगने लग गया है कि डोरी से छूटने के बाद में द काइट विल स्टिल सोर हाई इन द स्काई, which is not the fact.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Whereas
Okay.
moment you are in some kind of a disciplined environment, then yes, you will grow. But it is vice versa here. It is not happening the way it should happen. And because the asset is with him, and there are so many competition, so much of competition is there, because today if the guy is chucked out of Uber, he'll go and join Ola, then there is InDrive, then there is Rapido, then there is XYZ. मतलब कोई लिमिट ही नहीं है,
Hmm.
and you are at the mercy of the chauffeur. So that is the reason these companies are going back now. Going forward, I think there will be only 50% of the fleet which will be aggregated by all these companies will be from companies like us. So we will be
Okay.
giving them the fleet. We will be
Hmm.
controlling the chauffeur component by
Hmm.
creating those hubs and hub and spoke model, and that's how we'll grow. So, if I may say that Uber Black, which is recently started, all the cars almost are provided by us.
Okay. So today Uber is at 50%. Yeah, like 50% is
नहीं
this
नहीं
supply
नहीं नहीं नहीं
aggregation.
नहीं नहीं नहीं.
नहीं.
Uber
अच्छा.
Black, of course, will be completely under this kind of a model, but
Corporate partner.
yeah, yeah, there'll be corporate partnership. But then, if you talk about the normal Uber Go, which is a economy model, still I think 85% of the fleet is with DCOs, but they would like to take it to a level where at least 50% of this fleet is with the corporate.
Okay. I guess there's also technology as one of the factors, right? Because now you can track everything. Like you can track, is he misusing, is he driving rashly? Because cars have sensors now, so you get a lot of data. So because you get so much data, so some of those old problems, like is he stealing fuel, today is not a problem because you have enough sensors in your car to exactly predict that this driver is stealing fuel and when he stole the fuel. And I guess that could also be a reason why the DCO model is not so appealing today. Some of those
Nee, to
problems which
no
it was solving
stealing
are not
issues.
problems.
Yeah, stealing issues are gone now. Stealing issues are not there because most of the vehicles are on CNG and electric, etc., etc.
Mm.
But there are some other challenges which has come up. You are, for example, giving to one aggregator. You have purchased a car given to the chauffeur. Chauffeur is going to one aggregator, and you're telling him to only drive with him. Now he buys another mobile, puts a aggregator two, and he's driving for him also, or he has his own customers where he's taking them. So there's a lot of misutilization of asset which happens, and sometimes you're able to control and sometimes not. Uh, Too much of manpower is required to actually control them. Technology is fine, but ultimately, at the end of the technology, there has to be some action which has to be taken, and the action has to be hardware and not a software.
Mm. Okay. So you are still in favor of DCO. What
I'm
percentage
not
of
in
your
favor.
fleet is? Acha.
I'm not in favor of DCO now. I
Okay.
was in favor of DCO. I think till 2019.
Okay.
But now I'm not in favor of DCO because there's a lot of misuse which happens, and from day one the discipline goes for a toss. He takes the car and he thinks उसने कार खरीद ली है तो वो ठीक नहीं है.
डीसीओ मॉडल में वो खरीदता है ना कार, या आप
खरीदता
उसे
है.
कार देते?
डीसीओ दो तरीके हैं. एक
हाँ,
तरीका है वो कि उसने कार खुद खरीदी, so he's a good guy.
राइट। हाँ,
So
ओके।
there he's got a skin in the game. But
हाँ,
whereas if the company buys and give the car to the driver, in that case he takes you for a ride.
अच्छा, सो व्हाट यू आर सेइंग इज़ कि अगर कंपनी ने कहा कि दिस कार इज़ लाइक योर्स, कि
Yeah.
इसकी ईएमआई मैं भर रहा हूँ, हम हिसाब कर लेंगे, एंड में तुम्हारी हो जाएगी।
हाँ, 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 हाँ।
तो
उसके
उस
अंदर
केस
फिर तो
में
कंपनी डेबिट में ही रहेगी बिकॉज़
ओके,
इट्स अ
दे
कैट एंड माई
मिसयूज़।
स्टोरी. या इट्स अ कैट एंड
ओके।
माई स्टोरी.
हुँ। Okay, okay, okay. Got it, got it, got it. And this supply of the first kind, where he bought the car himself, is there enough supply in the market of these
Yeah,
kind of?
still that kind of people are also there. Now what will happen is, let's say if today I have started saying that okay, DCO is not something which or giving my cars to the driver is something which I would not like to do. And similarly,
Hmm,
there will be other companies which will follow because they all are going through the same pain. So once that starts happening, the drivers will start one buying their own cars. There'll be more stringent terms for assigning DCOs, etc., etc. So
hmm,
I think again there'll be the model which will come will let's say if I have a hub, so the driver will come, he will pay a day's rent, and then he can drive the car for any of the aggregators he want. In the evening, he has to return the car at the same hub after driving for 12 hours. So that model will certainly be there in next couple of maybe months and years. We don't have to wait for too long. So it will not be a DCO, but it will be like a professional who is coming, using the asset and paying you your dues.
very interesting. So essentially, then in a way, the driver is your customer. You are getting a
Yeah, so
fixed
तो
payment per car
हमारी
per day.
सेल्स या हमारी
हाँ,
जो सेल्स होगी वो कॉर्पोरेट
हाँ,
से ज़्यादा ड्राइवर को होगी. सो ड्राइवर इज
hmm,
माय कस्टमर.
right. Very interesting. Is this already happening for
अभी तक
WTI?
तो नहीं बट हाँ स्टार्ट हो जाएगा. होने लग गया टू अ सर्टेन एक्सटेंट. बट वी आर गिविंग सैलरीज. द
Hmm.
सैलरी हैज टू स्टॉप and the
Huh,
model has to become successful.
right.
We will call the model successful only if the salary stops, and
Huh,
instead of I paying to those guys, they have
they
to
pay
pay
you.
me the rental.
Right, right, right. I think some of these EV logistics companies, like moving, some of them are doing this kind of a model where the driver
हाँ वो काफ़ी
is
इवॉल्व हो
paying.
गया
Yeah,
बिकॉज
yeah. I
दे
think
आर
even
इनटू
Blue
दैट.
Smart has this model. I think where the
अभी
driver
शुरू
pays.
नहीं हुआ है. दे मस्ट बी ट्राइंग
Okay.
दैट आउट बिकॉज They must be trying it out. They have
Okay.
both fixed and variable pay, which is there as of now. But maybe they must be
So
working on it.
इसमें then is the driver totally your customer and you don't care वो कैसे कमा रहा है, या you also give him business like you say कि अच्छा ये मेरे 10
Both,
कस्टमर है, किसके साथ काम करना है तुम
both
चूज
ways,
कर लो. Okay.
both ways,
Hmm.
because once you evolve the model, there'll be different kind of permutation combination which will come out for your own business, for aggregation business, just pure rental of the car to the driver. So n number of models which will come out.
Okay, very interesting. So coming back to your journey, so you started buying and your own cars also, and also aggregating cars and being the ad hoc vendor for corporates. 2010-11 के अराउंड की बात है ये, तो उसके आगे क्या हुआ?
उसके बाद I think we started consolidating our position. So 2010 we did a revenue of around 4 crores. 2011-12 is when we opened some of the other cities, and which was Bangalore, Bombay, Hyderabad, yeah, Pune. So we did 19 crores in the second year.
Wow, that's like
And yeah.
tripling
uh,
almost, four
हाँ, तो
times.
जब आप बिजनेस शुरू करते हो ना, तब स्टैटिस्टिक्स को देखना नहीं चाहिए. इट मेक्स नो सेंस. अभी अभी मैं बोलूँ कि हाँ, तो मैंने 4 गुना कर दिया, दैट विल मेक अमेजिंग सेंस. बट उस टाइम पे नहीं. Then in I think we started doing one after another corporate signing. We got into car rental. We purchased one company by the name of India Fleet,
Yeah, what
which
do you mean
was
you got into car rental? What does that mean? वो
so
car
this
rental
was
क्या है?
ad
मतलब what
hoc.
is that
Ad hoc.
business? अच्छा.
This was
हाँ,
ad hoc. Car rental
हाँ.
is a very organized kind of a business where you sign up with the corporate, providing cars for airport transfers in very simple terms, or for disposal when you are traveling into Bombay and you need car for the whole day, um, and you're going intercity from one city to another city. So we started signing up with various corporate only for car rental initially.
This is like fixed, like I want 5 cars on rent और वो 5 cars मैं जैसे भी चाहूँ यूज करूँ, or is it like
नहीं 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 नहीं, जब भी आप
per
बॉम्बे
use
जा रहे हो,
case?
हाँ, पर
अच्छा,
यूज केस. सो यू आर गोइंग
अच्छा.
टू बॉम्बे, यू आर गोइंग टू बैंगलोर, यू आर गोइंग टू हैदराबाद, यू नीड ओनली एयरपोर्ट ट्रांसफर, you need disposal, you want to go intercity. So it is case basis. It is
Okay.
not fixed, it is
So,
not at all
so
fixed.
they'll like book a cab. It's like booking a cab, except that
Booking a cab.
you're not booking an Uber, but you're booking through the corporate
हाँ,
admin team,
but yeah.
and the admin team has some agreement with you on the rates and all, which will be more favorable than Uber. Something like that would be the.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you
Hmm.
talk about disposal or intercity, I think will be more economical than all the aggregators that you're talking about.
Mm, okay, but wouldn't Uber and Ola want to move into this market?
They
Because
are
this
they are
is
trying.
very okay.
They are trying, but only thing is, let's understand the difference between what Uber is doing and what or Ola is doing or any other aggregator. Their business is very driver centric,
Hmm. For
and
them,
our
driver
bus-
is a major stakeholder. Huh.
है ना, उनकी सेल्स ड्राइवर को होती है,
Huh.
और
Okay.
our business is very customer centric. In our case, I pay a driver a certain amount, and after that, he can't say yes, no to a particular duty. He can't say that I will not obey or follow the rules and processes. So we are customer centric organization. They are very very B2C and a driver centric organization. So that difference
Okay.
is there. It is not that why will they not get into that kind of a business. So each of the organization, they have certain DNA. Of course, you can change, you can pivot, you can do whatever, but then the basic DNA will not change. For example, we are into B2B and would like to remain in B2B and strengthen not only here but across the globe in B2B. So that's our strength.
Okay. Okay. Like with an Uber and Ola, the reliability would be lower because their driver can say no to a ride. Because
They
the
can say no to a ride,
uh,
and what kind of bespoke solution will they be able to offer to a corporate
hmm.
or to you? Because
Yeah, the
we
training
have
of the driver
customers.
also they can't control. Whereas you can control how to train a driver,
Absolutely.
what
So
uniform he should wear.
we have customers since last 15 years who are using good, bad, ugly, whatsoever, but they can always vouch for the service. And
Mm.
if something happens, at least there is a face to the service.
Mm.
They always know that
Right.
there's somebody
Okay.
who is there
Huh.
to
There's an
control.
account manager, and you can
Yeah,
call and
yeah, there
say,
is a
okay,
face to the service.
okay, interesting, interesting.
आप
Okay.
booking.com से होटल बुक करो और
Hmm.
आप डायरेक्टली लेट्स से इफ योर कॉर्पोरेट अकाउंट विद ताज देयर विल बी लॉट ऑफ डिफरेंस.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. True, true, true. Okay, understood. Okay, okay. So, okay, so you got into this car rental business in
So 2000,
2013, I think. Uh,
no, 2011, 12 itself, we started doing small things. And then we started signing some of the very large accounts, very, very large accounts. We started inducting the fleet. In fact, in 2010, our company was the only company which managed the total Commonwealth Games, movement
okay.
of Commonwealth Games. And
Hmm.
that too, when the contract was awarded to us only some 4 days back,
Wow.
because the earlier player was not able to um, take care of the scale.
Hmm.
So because somebody knew me and we got into the event and understood the route only for 1 day and then executed the entire plan.
Hmm. The agility of a startup.
Agility of a startup. So we were
Uh,
able to call people from left, right, center, make the entire plan.
yeah.
ये पूरा की पूरी fleet was parked at Vinay Marg, which is next to this Ashoka Hotel. So we
Hmm.
booked 2 rooms there for the entire team who's managing the event. And I told
Yeah.
them
Okay.
20 days, we are not going home.
Right.
And
Okay.
in fact, those 15 days, I can write a book in terms of how the entire event was changed
Yeah.
from being so unorganized to being organized. That the next Commonwealth Games were managed in, happened in Scotland, and their team flew down and they wanted to speak to us to figure out how did we manage it.
Oh, okay. Amazing. Okay. Hmm.
So
So,
so a lot of such events,
hmm,
which is like moment of truth, we have seen
hmm,
while
hmm.
doing some or managing some very very large events, because there we were talking about 1800 cars and some 3600 drivers to be managed in a span of 20 days.
Isme, how did you build the supply? Because you would have needed to ramp up supply very quickly, right?
No, so what happened is Tata Motors gave 1800 cars, brand
Okay.
new vehicles. Our only job was to get drivers,
Hmm.
and that was
Okay.
a very
And
very big job.
run operations.
Run the operations.
Oh, okay, 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 okay. Interesting. Okay. Uh, these car rental contracts, are they exclusive or non-exclusive? Like, are you
So
one among
both.
many vendors, or are you the only
So
vendor?
both actually, and in 2014 we came out with the concept of something called MSP, which is like managed service provider. So in managed services, what we do is we go to a particular corporate and we give them assurance that we will be managing the complete mobility solutions for them, be it their employee transportation, leasing, car rental, anything to do with the mobility. So we have signed many such accounts. But
Okay.
initially, it used to be like you have 5 vendors, you are the sixth vendor. So
Hmm.
we make software based on their requirement. These
Okay.
softwares are very very bespoke software for their employee transportation, for their car rental requirement. So once you sign these kind of contracts, then these are very very long term contracts, because you are investing into a lot of things. And to sign such contracts also takes a lot of time, because you have to understand their operations, you have to prepare a white paper for them, and then that's how these comes to you. And these are very high value contracts.
Hmm. Okay. What percentage of your revenue comes from this MSP business?
I think as of now around 20%.
Okay. 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 So let's continue the journey. So you got into MSPs, you got into car rentals.
या एंड एम्प्लॉय ट्रांसपोर्टेशन एंड
Hmm.
एवरी ईयर वो मेरे तो टीम में मजाक भी उड़ाते हैं कि इसको हर साल कुछ ना कुछ मॉडल चेंज करना होता है तो sometimes you come on a regional model, sometimes you are on a national model, sometimes on a strategic business model, but every year or every 1.5 years we figure out, okay, आज थोड़ा सा रोमांचक खेल करते हैं एंड वी कीप चेंजिंग
So
the role.
this you're talking of the organization structure, like reporting structures.
Yeah. Reporting structure also. For example, sometimes you have the regional structure for the entire businesses, for all the business that we're doing.
Like you'll have one
Then,
north head reporting to you, or one
हाँ,
north head sub sambhal, right?
सारा सारा
Whereas,
संभालेगा आप.
okay, okay,
Sometimes you say, okay, MSP across the country is managed by one person. So
employee
ये सारे
transport by
खेल,
one person.
हाँ
Okay.
हाँ, so ये सारे खेल खेले जाते हैं time and again. So
इसमें आपने क्या सीखा? Like what organization structure is useful for what situation?
no
Yeah.
one, no none.
अच्छा, बट
So
कुछ तो
what
आपकी
happens
लर्निंग
is,
होगी ना, लाइक कोई
हाँ
आपको
लर्निंग ये है,
हम्म,
लर्निंग ये है कि ऑल बिजनेस मॉडल्स आर ग्रेट
okay.
provided provided your business heads or the person who is running that show is intent and his capabilities are there to manage the show. So whether it is vertical wise or it is horizontal doesn't really matter. It depends on the intent and capability of the person.
Okay. So you're saying design your organization's chart based on the capability of your team.
बहुत लोग बोलते हैं कि यू हैव टू बी प्रोसेस ड्रिवन और कभी भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन चार्ट में नाम नहीं देना चाहिए. इट हैज़ टू बी ओनली द पोजीशन व्हिच हैज़ टू बी देयर. आई डोंट एग्री.
Hmm.
मतलब ये बोलना बहुत अच्छा लगता है बट प्लीज आस्क yourself heart to heart whether is that true. Don't you visualize a person that who will be able to control this and who will not be able to do a particular job? You all know that it's a good case study and people should talk about it. Business is not a science. Yes, process is important, but business is a combination of art and science.
Yeah, yeah, so true. One of my friends, he recently quit his job. He was in a bank. When he quit, they replaced him with not one but three people. And even though in the org chart there was one role he was handling, but for his replacement they got in three people. Just because he was able to manage so much, which when he quit they realized that एक बंदे का काम नहीं है.
और एक बात मैंने और भी देखी है इन द मैनेजमेंट, जो बहुत बोलते हैं ना, कम से कम इन द ऑपरेटिंग बिजनेसेस यू शुड नॉट टेक दोज पीपल. दी
अच्छा, okay,
बहुत ज़्यादा बोलने वाले ना डिलीवर नहीं करते कभी भी.
अच्छा, okay,
क्योंकि वो हमेशा ये सोचते रहते हैं मेरे को बोलना क्या है rather than actually thinking कि मेरे को करना क्या है.
yeah, okay, okay.
And this has been especially in the operating jobs,
Hmm.
because operations require a lot of
Listening.
meditation, actually
Uh,
meditation.
okay.
Operations is only about three things: maximize your utilization, minimize your cost, and ensure your customer satisfaction. But ये तीन चीज करने के लिए जान निकल जाती है.
True.
होता ही नहीं.
Hmm.
So one has to actually understand his numbers. He has to understand the DNA of his people, organization. तभी जाके हो सकता है. Just by putting a point for the sake of putting a point or for the sake of talking doesn't make sense.
Interesting. I think across all roles, probably, I personally feel that finding good listeners is more important. Unless it's a role which needs you to talk, like, say, sales. Maybe there you need someone who's.
Sir, this is a misnomer. Okay,
Yeah,
I think I don't really agree to this also.
yeah.
जो सामने बैठा होता है ना, उसकी बात ध्यान से सुन लो और
Yeah.
हाथ जोड़ के सुन लो. You don't have to actually prove your point. You have to understand his requirement. आप कान खोल के उसके शब्द पूरी तरह से सुन के, and if you are able to articulate in 2 sentences, I think you are able to do it.
True, true,
Otherwise,
true.
you keep blabbering all
हाँ,
the time. It is not going to make sense.
यू हैव टू नो आपको कौन सी बुलेट फायर करनी है टू
हाँ
विन
सर,
अ डील।
बस
तो उसके लिए यू हैव टू लिसन एब्सोल्युटली।
वो। और आजकल वो, आप जिसके पास में ऐसे सेल्स कॉल करने जाते हो उसको पता ही बहुत बोलेगा। प्लीज सरप्राइज हिम बाय नॉट टॉकिंग।
या वेरी ट्रू।
So,
सो
genuinity नहीं मिलती सर सेल्स में। मतलब इफ यू टॉक अबाउट पीपल, इफ यू आर एबल टू गिव योर सॉल्यूशंस genuinely to your customer, it is not talking which is required.
यस,
So,
यस, यस। सो what made you take the going public path?
hmm, पहली बात उसकी आवश्यकता नहीं थी जब मैंने किया ये।
Okay.
It was not required at all.
Well, you didn't need money. That's what you mean.
No, 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 money was not required.
It was a profitable business.
Of course, there was a lot of reserves and surplus. In spite of COVID, we were able to survive. The year last year when we did our IPO, um, immediately after COVID, we were able to clock a revenue of 400 crores, which was kind of a great growth. Reserves and surplus was there, and that is the reason I thought this is the right time, because जब पैसा चाहिए होता है तब तो कोई देता नहीं है।
Ah, so true, so true.
तो उस टाइम कर लो जब आपको नहीं चाहिए।
Position of
क्योंकि
strength raise karo.
I
True, true, true. Yeah.
so when and this how I learned is only from the banks, because initially when we wanted car loans or whatever, we never used to get it. So difficult. I
You had
remember
to.
having mortgaged my house without even telling my family in 2010-11. Mortgaged it without telling anyone, and it was actually I'll be lying if I say it was not stressful. It was stressful. Then you have to ensure that you have to work really, really hard to ensure that it comes back to you at least. So then we realized जो करना है अच्छे टाइम पे करना चाहिए, अदरवाइज तो तुम कर ही नहीं पाओगे।
Then the bank started chasing you. Okay, हमसे loan
हाँ,
ले लो.
तो
Give
अभी
us
तो
business.
चीज़ें चीज़ें चेंज हो जाती हैं ना सर।
Uh,
तब रिलायंस क्या करता है कि 2 लाख करोड़ रुपए रिजर्व एंड सरप्लस में डाल के 4 लाख करोड़ का उसी के अगेंस्ट में लोन ले सकता है।
right, right, right,
So
right.
that is the strength. And today, if you've got 200 crores which is lying in your bank, and you can take 400 crores from the bank as a loan, कोई भी आवाज करे तो you can pay it off. No, ultimately, what will the bank do with their money? They have also to invest it somewhere. No,
Yeah.
and what will be more profitable than giving loan to the company where they are 100% sure that it will be repaid? Because
Yeah.
for us from day one itself, some of the fundamentals, your bank has to be on your right side, your check can never bounce. These were the fundamentals that we started our business with.
Because
So
the bank is actually like a very important supplier for you, no? Because to
उसके
build a
बिना नहीं
fleet, you
होगा सर।
need debt. वो debt के बिना आप
सर
business grow ही नहीं कर
कोई
सकते.
भी बिजनेस हो, आप कोई भी
हाँ,
बिजनेस, हियर वी आर
हाँ,
टॉकिंग fleet which is a very very capital intensive business, but then you
mm,
talk about any business, your bank has to be on your, and in today's environment I think it is very important.
mm. Right, right, right. So this, what is the stake that you still hold in WTI? Like between the founders and all, like what?
So the founders hold around 70%.
Acha, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And you
So
listed
70
it.
71 plus.
Okay. I think there are different ways of doing IPO. No? There is a SME board and there is a main board.
So we started with SME,
Okay. What is the
because
difference? Like,
SME may not much, but one, the share lot is of 500. When you have to buy or sell, it is in the lots of 500
okay.
shares. The second is in SME, you have to declare your results twice in a year, whereas in case of a full board, it has to be 4 times in every quarter. And then some compliances. That's it, nothing much.
And
Also, at the same time.
anybody
Hmm.
can invest in SME board companies, या you have to be an
Anyone.
accredited investor?
No, 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 no,
ऐसा कुछ
no,
नहीं
no.
है? अच्छा,
Anyone, anyone. आप
okay.
जाओ
It's
खरीद
just
लो.
that वो lot size का एक वो
Yeah,
barrier है,
yeah,
तो small
yeah, yeah.
investors will stay away because वो 500 shares at a time का barrier है.
हाँ, but people who understand this SME game, they really make. It's a matter of understanding the game. That's it.
And it's up to you to choose आप किस board में list होते हो, या you need to meet some requirement to go to the
No,
main
no,
board.
no. I think it was we were eligible for main board also. For main
क्या
board,
है
there has to be.
eligibility criteria for main
I
board?
think I'm not very
कोई
sure,
turnover
but around
criteria?
yeah, yeah. You have to be more than 200 crores, etc., etc., something like that.
Okay,
Um,
okay. Hmm.
so we were eligible for the main board also when we did SME.
Hmm.
But I think I had something in mind as to when to do SME and when to do full board.
What did you have in mind? Like उसका क्या logic था to
मतलब
do
ठीक है अभी
SME first?
मेरा कभी भी दिमाग में ये था कि वी विल नॉट डू IPO till we reach a particular figure and that
Okay.
must be in 4 digits and but SME was available so I said okay let's take the experience and then we'll do full board once we reach that particular
But अभी you've not reached that figure ना, four digit
4 digit नहीं
crore.
पहुंचे मैंने पिछले साल ही तो किया IPO.
तो but you've gone to the main board, you said.
No, we have not. We'll go
अच्छा,
only to
you've
the
not.
main board.
अच्छा, ठीक है,
Yeah,
got it, got it. So you'll go to the main board once you cross that
yeah, 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 yeah,
1,000 crore का
yeah.
turnover. Okay, okay, okay. And SME board में liquidity होती है, like enough liquidity for.
मेरे को लिक्विडिटी मतलब इफ आई से या इन्वेस्टर शुड बी एबल टू मेक मनी एंड दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एंड दैट्स व्हाट वी शुड बी वर्किंग ऑन बिकॉज दैट डिफाइंस माय वैल्यू आल्सो बट देन एज फार एज कंपनीज लिक्विडिटी इज कंसर्न जितना पैसा आना था वो तो आ गया
Obviously.
so
Right, right.
here we have to maintain the liquidity by our own business rather than always depending on outside funds so
Hmm.
not really.
Okay, 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 okay. And what is your market capitalization? Approximate, like as
No,
of recording time?
500 crores approx.
Okay, okay, okay. ठीक है, got it. Amazing. So you are basically like a legit crorepati, like 100 crore plus would be your personal net worth, right?
आपने कम बोला है थोड़े दिन पहले बहुत ज़्यादा थी लेकिन अभी
अच्छा.
जब से मार्केट थोड़ा क्रैश हुआ है कम हो गया है
हाँ, हाँ, हाँ. I
बट
mean,
सर मेरे को कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता ना मैं शेयर प्राइस देखता आप आज आपने मेरे को आउट ऑफ द सिलेबस क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया है so I don't really look into that for me important is that okay month on month what is the number that I've decided the company should achieve
Hmm,
uh, the share price or my value or anybody else's value is the byproduct of what we are doing today.
hmm. So,
मेरे को उसमें पढ़ना नहीं है.
what is it that you want to do? अभी, you've already reached like from a stage जहाँ आपको घर गिरवी करना पड़ा to today where you are worth hundreds of crores. मतलब you already reached a certain level. अब आगे और क्या करना है आपको?
घर जाता हूँ ना वैसे ही मेरी बीवी मेरे को ना जमीन पे लेके आ जाती है एकदम कि मेरे को नहीं पता चलता कि 100 करोड़ 500 करोड़ 1000 करोड़ एंड दैट इज द बेस्ट इक्वलाइजर मोमेंट यू रीच होम सो वेरी वेरी grounded we should always understand what is the market is saying उसके बाद में मेरे को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता सर किसके पास में कितना अल्टीमेटली
नहीं, but what
what
is driving you today? What is a
only
goal that is driving you?
market position हमारी कहाँ पे होगी what are the new things that we are going to uh, launch and create how well firstly in this country and then globally we are able to expand ourselves or after a while when you're not in the business let's say 4 or 5 years down the line when I want to hand over the baton to the professionals to run the organization um, how well they're able to take it from there because rest all go
Hmm.
फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता सर उससे
Tell me something. Why are you going global? मतलब इंडिया में इतना opportunity है. Why not just
बहुत बहुत बढ़िया
focus
क्वेश्चन है सर जब
on
हमने ये
India?
बिजनेस स्टार्ट किया ना जब ये बिजनेस
Hmm.
स्टार्ट किया था तो किसी ने पूछा कि दिल्ली में इतनी ज़्यादा अपॉर्चुनिटी है आप जाके बैंगलोर में
Okay.
So I'll just give you a small example. हमने दुबई में last year शुरू किया. It has
Dubai
been
is your
8 months.
first global
Yeah, yeah,
expansion.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Hmm.
It has
And
been
what
eight
did you
months.
start there? This car rental.
Self-drive, yeah, car rental.
Okay.
Self-drive. Um
B2C or
Today,
B2B?
B2C, B2B both. So anybody who
Acha.
owns a car, I'll not say no. So as plain and simple as that. So today we have a fleet of around 400 cars there in a span of 8 months, 8 to 10 months, and it's a profitable business. So if we can talk about enterprise and Hertz and Avis and XYZ, हर एक ये सोच सकता था ना, मैं चाइना क्यों ना जाऊं.
Hmm.
तो आई थिंक इट इज़ जस्ट अ मैटर ऑफ मैनेजमेंट बैंडविड्थ. अगर आपका बिजनेस प्रॉफिटेबल है या उसमें सेंस बनती है तो पैसे तो आ जाएंगे.
Right.
But then why should I restrict to this boundary? Let's
Hmm.
think beyond boundaries, and that's what we have been trying to do. And it gives you a different kind of a perspective altogether.
What is the math for going abroad? Like, how much do you invest? How much do you get the return on that investment? And क्या margins होते हैं? How is it different from the math in India?
मैं आपको पूरा तो नहीं बताऊंगा.
Okay.
बट ये बता
Uh,
सकता हूँ कि जो ये बिजनेस हैं स्पेशली इन मिडल ईस्ट, because I'm not going to other part of the world, though I have traveled and figured out. But in these countries, your size has to be humongous. You can't have a small size. अगर साइज
humongous
ठीक है,
means how many cabs? How many cars in your
so
fleet?
in next 4 to 5 years, uh, I think if it's not 10,000,
Wow.
तो मज़ा नहीं आएगा.
Okay. So you're saying to compete in a Middle East, 10,000 is the fleet size that you need to
हाँ,
reach to.
इतना होना चाहिए. नो, वी आर
Amazing.
प्रॉफिटेबल, यू आर डूइंग एवरीथिंग, बट देन
Hmm.
अगर कोई ये बोले कि दुबई में कितनी कार रेंटल कंपनीज हैं, तो अगर मैं यहाँ पे 15 साल 14 साल लगे तो वहाँ पे 4 साल में कर देना चाहिए, बिकॉज वहाँ पे मेरे पास ऑलरेडी एक प्लेटफॉर्म था.
Hmm. Why do you think that मतलब आप 10,000 हिट कर लोगे वहां पे ऑलरेडी कंपटीशन होगी ना.
जब मैंने यहाँ पे शुरू किया था ना सर, इन इंडिया, दैट टाइम ऑल्सो पीपल यूज टू कम एंड आस्क मी कि सी आई एम अ डेविल्स एडवोकेट. तो मैं बोला आई एम नॉट अ डेविल. सो and what is the different thing you're doing? I said nothing. There are 2000 car rental companies and 2001. My first priority is to ensure my head is above the water. उसके बाद में फिर देख लेंगे. वो पहले मार्केट को देख के प्रोडक्ट बनाना ठीक रहता है, रादर देन उल्टा कि तुम्हारे को कोई रात को सपना आया और तुमने कुछ कर दिया. सो फर्स्ट, the solution to every problem lies in the market if you are in business, not the boardroom. So there is a there is a formula, 2244. So most of the decisions for 44 degrees are taken in 22 degrees in a boardroom.
नहीं समझ आया मुझे. What do you mean by that?
काम कर रहे होते फील्ड में जहाँ पे टेम्परेचर होता है 44 डिग्रीज.
Ah, okay. Okay.
And for that you are taking a decision while sitting in 22 degrees.
Air conditioned boardroom. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Very interesting.
What will happen?
वो 44 experience किए बिना decision मत लो. That is your.
Exactly. So
Uh,
your ears has to be very close to the ground, and your skin should be exposed to the sun when you take these kind of decisions.
amazing, amazing, amazing. Uh, so India में you were like 2000 companies थी, you were 2001. Today probably you are one among 10. I'm guessing. So why is
Yeah,
it
one among five actually.
one among five? So why did you reach here? What is
So
your
pure,
strength?
I think I will not say anything else. I think it is only the manpower team that we have got, and standing by the team all the time. What is my strength? My strength is just being with my people, and they go all out to deliver more than what you can expect from them. So if you are with them, you'll be able to take a right decision. Stand by them. मेरे को परेशानी ना गलती से नहीं होती, मेरे को परेशानी खाली इंटेंट से होती है। क्योंकि गलती तो वही करेगा जो काम करेगा।
Right. True, true.
जो काम ही नहीं करेगा तो वो तो गलती भी नहीं करेगा। सो आई एम ऑलवेज हैप्पी विद पीपल हु आर मेकिंग मिस्टेक्स, बिकॉज एटलीस्ट दे आर ट्राइंग।
Hmm.
सबसे ज्यादा गलती इस कंपनी में मैं करता हूँ,
Right.
इसलिए नहीं कि मैं सबसे ज्यादा काम करता हूँ, बिकॉज आई टेक सम बोल्ड डिसीजंस एंड समटाइम्स दो डिसीजंस आर राइट एंड रॉन्ग। सिमिलरली आई try and inculcate that habit in my team. Please take decisions,
Hmm.
and that is what I would like to do in next 3 years time, so that professional management can completely take over. I have a feeling, when a promoter stays in a business for too long, he starts cannibalizing into his own business.
What do you mean by that?
एक आदमी है, मैं अपना एग्जांपल लेता हूँ। आज 12 साल हो गए, 15 साल हो गए, 10 साल और खींचता हूँ, तो ईगो आ जाएगी, एनर्जी कम हो जाएगी, लोगों के साथ में उठना बैठना कम हो जाएगा, यू नॉट बी एबल टू इंस्पायर योर टीम और प्रस्पायर योर टीम। दैट इज वेयर यू स्टार्ट कैनिबलाइजिंग।
Well, you
सो
start going into a comfort zone and वो
कंफर्ट जोन,
ज़्यादा 44
आइदर
डिग्रीज
यूर,
के बदले 22 हो जाएगा ज़्यादा।
हाँ हो गई ना सर, आपका आपकी एज है, आपके
Hmm.
माइंडसेट है, आपकी वो हंगर है, हंगर इज नॉट देयर।
Hmm.
You have to stay hungry to achieve something, whether it is business or anything else in life. So either you pass on the baton to your next generation as soon as possible and then shut up
Hmm.
if you trust them. If you don't, then please don't pass on the baton, वरना
Right.
बड़बड़ाता रहेगा बुड्ढा।
I think like basically the reason why you're in the top 5 today is because you've built a hungry organization. Like your team is
I
hungry.
think so. I think, yeah,
Yeah.
I think so, and they should remain hungry. That's what I
So
feel.
how do you drive hunger as a culture? मतलब मैं तो
So
अपने
वैसे
मुझे लगता है कि मैं अपने सन को मतलब अपने बेटे को भी वो हंगर नहीं दे सकता
वो
हूँ
कोशिश
बिकॉज
मत करना, वो
he
कोशिश मत
he
करना।
he has grown up with everything, मतलब
नहीं
उसको कहाँ से हंगर आएगी वो I worry about that.
नो नो, दैट इज नॉट राइट, ही हैज ग्रोन विद
हाँ,
एवरीथिंग, दैट हैपेंस
हाँ,
विद मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल, बट देन आप एक काम करना, वो 10-12 फोटो डालना, दीवार पे लगाना।
हाँ,
उसमें एक में महात्मा गांधी, एक में सुभाष चंद्र बोस, एक पे मे बी नेल्सन मंडेला, बीच में अपना फोटो भी डाल देना। आस्क योर सन कि किसकी तरह बनना चाहता है। you'll get the answer. So somewhere,
हाँ,
हम अपने खुद में दिए तले अंधेरा होता है ना। सो यू मे डू वट एवर यू वांट टू डू, बट अल्टीमेटली वेदर योर फोक्स आर एक्चुअली inspired by you or not is something which has to be seen very very closely.
हम्म।
uh,
how do you drive hunger in your company? वो culture of
it
hunger.
is, सर वो ना सिंपल सा ही है। इट इज़ नॉट दैट दे कम विद हंगर व्हेन दे जॉइन अस। देयर इज़ अ कल्चर कि हमारे, अगर मेरे को बात करनी है तो खाली ग्रोथ की बात करनी है और कोई बात ही नहीं करनी है, बिकॉज रेस्ट ऑल प्रोसेसेस विल बी टेकन केयर ऑफ। एज अ सीईओ व्हाट इज माय जॉब अदर देन सेल्स?
Hmm.
फाइनेंस वाला बंदा है, एचआर वाला बंदा है, सारे बंदे हैं। इवन इफ यू गो टू सम ऑफ द ग्रेटेस्ट कॉन्फ्रेंसेस इन द वर्ल्ड,
Hmm.
चलो जहाँ पे गूगल का सीईओ, माइक्रोसॉफ्ट का है, ये सारे हैं, हम भी पहुँच गए, आईबीएम भी है, क्या बात करेंगे वो आपस में? अल्टीमेटली दे बी ट्राइंग टू सेल ईच
Deals.
अदर, राइट?
Right.
सो एट एवरी पोजिशन आई थिंक दिस हंगर हैज टू बी देयर, दैट finally, as the head of businesses, our only job is to sell.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. And do you screen for selling skills when you are hiring?
बेसिक थोड़ी बहुत ट्रेनिंग्स होती हैं सर। वी हैव स्टार्टेड समथिंग लाइक ग्रेजुएट मैनेजमेंट ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम्स एंड ऑल दैट। वी टेक पीपल यंग in the organization, because they will be able to make better managers than people who are hired from outside. So
Hmm.
since last 3 years we have started doing that. It's giving us moderate results. But then I'm sure with refinement of the program, things will better. And
mm,
as far as training is concerned, it's a continuous job. It will keep happening. But then intent is more important than anything else. अगर किसी में इंटेंट है तो जब कोई आदमी आपके सामने कोई चीज़ बेचने के लिए बैठता है या लेट्स से यू वांट टू हैव अ डील फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट इज बी ऑनेस्ट
mm,
स्मार्टनेस इज नॉट अबाउट सेल्स वो ना एक मिसकंसेप्शन है एंड इट इज देयर सिंस आई डोंट नो एजेस genuinity always pays
mm. True, 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 true.
forever, and that guy will become your customer not for once but for always. Be genuine. uh, if you don't have something, you don't have something, because सबके पास सब चीज़ नहीं हो सकती.
Mm,
I cannot be Shah Rukh Khan. I cannot be Mark Zuckerberg. Fine, but whatever I am able to give you. This is what I am.
mm,
टेक इट और लीव इट. अगर ये सोच के लोगे कि शाहरुख खान को ले रहे हो और उसके बाद में निकला कुछ और, यू फील चीटेड.
mm.
So
Amazing,
genuine,
amazing.
being genuine is very very important.
Mm,
और सर जब हम झूठ बोलते हैं या प्रिटेंड करने की कोशिश करते हैं किसी भी चीज़ के लिए, वी वेस्ट लॉट ऑफ आवर एनर्जी. हमेशा याद करना पड़ता है कि मैंने अक्षय को ये झूठ बोला था. कितनी एनर्जी मिस होगी, कितनी एनर्जी लॉस होगी.
true, true, true. So true.
जबकि आप मेरे से आज के 50 साल बाद भी पूछोगे कि क्या बात हुई, अगर मेरी मेमोरी उस टाइम ठीक रही थी मैं आपको बताऊँ ये बात हुई थी.
Mm.
याद करने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है.
Yes, yes, yes. So true.
So
Mm,
a honest person will always be more productive in the
mm,
long run.
mm. A lot of people feel that Gen Z is not hungry. Well, Gen Z is more entitled, not as hardworking. So when you're hiring these graduates, how do you drive hunger into them?
गुस्सा तो आता है और काफ़ी बार. मैं ये नहीं बोलूँगा कि नहीं, आई एम ऑलवेज हैप्पी विद देम,
Uh,
बट देन दैट्स द वे इट इज. नाउ आई टेल यू, 1900 सेंचुरी वाज द टाइम ऑफ यूरोप, यूएस, इनका टाइम था. Industrial revolution all happened in these countries at that point of time. They really slogged their ass out in 1900 and 1800 and 1900. फिर उसके बाद में उनके अंदर ये वाली बातें, वीकेंड, फैमिली टाइम, योर टाइम, माय टाइम, everybody's time, etc
Work-life
etc
balance.
etc, work life balance.
Uh,
So this happened at the end of 1900 century, started happening maybe from 60s till 2000. 2000 is the time for Asian countries, because if you see all the growth which is happening is here. So when did we started working? Maybe from mid of 1950 से लेके, and we'll keep working till 2030-35 तक. फिर हमारे अंदर भी आ जाएगा कि जो कि आने लग गया है. Too much of those things have started coming in us, where we are saying work life balance, time to the family, etc etc, and we will go down to 4 days. 4 days maybe I'll come to office only twice in a week. Rest all 2 days I'll work from home, and etc etc, and a lot of such issues will start
yeah, yeah.
cropping up. Now what will happen? 2100 century will be the century for Africa, क्योंकि they are hungry. So it is a cycle, it has to happen. uh, when we are talking about this generation, when they grow up, Gen Z, and they are in 50s, they'll be working only 3 days or 4 days a week, because that's the way things are going to be. And
Mm.
everybody will be talking about 3 days, 4 days work life balance, because पेट भरा हुआ है ना.
Yeah, right. Mm.
पेट भरा हुआ है. वही जब उनके पिताजी से पूछो ये बात, या उनके दादाजी से ये बात पूछो कि वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस क्या होता है, आई थिंक दे बैलेंस देयर लाइफ मच बेटर देन व्हाट दे आर
Mm.
able to even think about. So it's only time bond, circumstantial, um, and born to happen. It is
Mm.
not that you and me can stop this or anybody else can stop this. This is a phenomenon, and that's the reason I started with the time of Europe, and then Asia, and then how Asia ke baad mein it will come to Africa.
Hmm.
अंटार्कटिका का मेरे को पता नहीं, बहुत टाइम लगेगा.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much for your time, Ashok. It was a real pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much, Akshay. Thank you very much, and we'll connect soon.